Rise of the Skywalker, how it should have ended. Welcome, I am your host, the Fat Mantis. Now before your feathers get all ruffled, remember, I am a Star Wars fan through and through, and I actually really like this movie, including the ending. But we're going to play a little game of what if, what other things could have happened. Where JJ and my script would begin to deviate would be just before the final battle at EXEGOL. As normal, Rey would leave Ahch-To with Luke's X-Wing, as well as both his lightsaber and Leia's, just as the Resistance, as per normal, would leave their jungle hidden world to go attack the Final Order's fleet. But just before they leave, Finn would use technology from the Stormtrooper deserters to make one last distress call to the Final Order. Because in his heart of hearts, he believes that there are more Stormtroopers like him and Jaina, and he needs to contact them. He would begin giving a heroic speech and eventually become the stuff of legends. He would speak about how each one of them needs to break out of their mind control, take control of their own destinies, and reclaim their lives. The standard using the Force music would play in the back. You know the music I'm talking about. He would have no knowledge if his crazy scheme even worked. They would proceed to EXEGOL as normal. Once getting there, they would engage the Sith. Which brings us to the former Kylo Ren, now known as Ben Solo. And what is his sin today? What would I change in this finale about him? The first thing I would do is his outfit. Now, Star Wars has the most deliberate costume choices I have ever seen in a franchise. You can't tell me that these men wear robes for no reason at all, just as these people dress like they are the most metal thing to ever happen to a far, far, far away galaxy for a reason. Every character, to every little thing they're wearing, tells the story. Look at The Mandalorian, look at Boba Fett, look at Jabba the Hutt. It goes on and on. However, J.J. Abrams' decision to dress Ben Solo like an utter bum, or should I say a mimic character of his version of James T. Kirk from Star Trek, was what I would have to say is a costume fail. Now, just for the general psychology of people watching and viewing this situation, I would absolutely change his outfit. The first simple thing I would do is he's wearing all black. It's very plain, it's very normal. I would have him just pick up maybe a leather jacket or some sort of article of clothing that's maybe white or a beige or something like that from a dead soldier on the remains of the Death Star. Just something very simple to put over this plain Jane garbagey outfit that he has, and also just to indicate that not only is he a lightsetter at this point, he is a stylish one at that. Next, he moves on into the Dark Citadel, where he will find the Knights of Ren. Now, I don't have much to say about that one, but I think the thing we could probably change at all from this ending is that fight could have been way better. Now, I'm not asking for epic levels of fight. I'm not even asking for a throne room fight, but I would definitely have the Knights of Ren be able to hold their own, possibly with melee weapons that are either vibro weapons or electrified weapons, and a fight that would take a little longer, maybe at least three times longer than what was presented to us in the film. It was just, in many ways, a failure, and it just continued to diss the legacy of the Knights of Ren. We've been getting gassed up for them for about 5 to 6 years now, and this is what you're going to present. It was just an embarrassment. And now we're up to the final battle as Rey enters the scene with Palpatine, and it would run very simply as it normally has. She would psych him out. She would teleport her lightsaber to her man Ben Solo, and they get to working on teamwork. However, Palpatine ends up using his whammy on them, draining their energy and disabled or destroyed ships within the Resistance, making them unable to wage warp. Through his force electrical storm, Ho has finally thrown in the hat and is actually verbally speaking over the command unit that it is all over and that he is sorry for being such a horrible leader. He turns to retreat. First thing he sees, First Order ships there, making him filled with more dread than he originally was. However, he would hear Lando's voice and realize that these First Order ships, not Star Destroyers, but I mean troop transports, are filled with stormtroopers who are deserting the First Order. They have followed Lando and they're headed down here to help fight against the Sith. This connects back to both Finn and just the power to the people concept that, remember, the biggest victims in all this, or one of the biggest victims, are the brainwashed children who are indoctrinated into the First Order. They are slaves. They have absolutely no control of what they're doing. So this would be an opportunity for them to fight back. We would end up having scenes of stormtroopers, white stormtroopers, fighting the red Sith troopers. Another thing is Babu Frick and Zori's ship would be leading to the way for droid transports going down, and sure enough, they would be filled with battle droids from the Confederacy of Independent Systems. As soon as they would land on top of the ships, they would be following their orders, and the battle droids and the stormtroopers would work together to destroy the villainy of the Sith. It calls back to the original prequels, which once again just is not referenced enough in this later trilogy. If this is really the finale of all of it, it would be fitting. Now, Palpatine would toss Kylo Ren off the cliff with his telekinesis. She would sit there, and I would let the lesser known Jedis like Luma Undurari and Kanan, and unfortunately Ahsoka, even Mace, beginning to speak to her and giving her a pep talk as she would pick herself up off the floor. Rey is now empowered to fight back. Palpatine would draw his lightsaber, and as it has to be, I mean, this is a final battle between Sith and Jedi, they have to do it out. And as they're doing that lightsaber fight, constant changing images of Yoda, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, and even digitally altered things of a younger Leia. Right there, fighting by her side, doing the exact same motion as her as they do their final battle. That's correct. I would not just make it a Force conference call. It would end up being a Force Ghost Con, and they would be definitely present, and I think that was seriously missing in there. The lightsaber fight would end with Rey chopping off one of Palpatine's arms. He would fall down, quaking in fear, as it seems as he's already defeated. However, he has one ultimate weapon that he always uses, his Force Lightning, as he would send forward with his one good arm. As he says the line, "I am all the Sith," she blocks with her lightsaber, then uses the other lightsaber to cross it and says, "And I am all the Jedi," and would send the wave back, destroying Palpatine. He would die, and there would be a moment of calm. She turns off her lightsabers, only to close her eyes. And when she reopens them, they're orange and red, similar to Darth Maul, similar to Anakin. The dark side is taking over her. As called, Palpatine very clearly laid out the rules that if he was destroyed by her hand, she would succumb to the dark side, and sure enough, it is happening. Then we would see the hand of Loverboy Ben Solo as he comes up here, clearly hurt. He would limp over to her. She would turn to him, prepared to destroy him. And now, instead of physically healing her as he did within the film, he would instead heal her very soul. In other words, talk her down from the dark side. He would give an impassioned speech, similar to the one Luke gave to Vader. Now, Luke gave one to his father. This was a very different relationship, as she is clearly the love interest of him, and he would be speaking from a deep, profound love for her. As she saved him to the dark side, he too does the same favor for her as the dark side purges from her eyes and she becomes normal. She was able to resist it for that one moment. They then share a passionate kiss. We cut to the end of the space battle and all our Star Warriors celebrating the complete and utter victory against the Sith. The universe is finally free and actually governing, and normal government can take hold. Finally, as people are celebrating, Rey and Ben Solo come out of the Citadel and meet with the others. All the resistance fighters, such as Commander Konik, draw their weapons, are enraged and ready to destroy him. He admits that he is ready to surrender and to pay for his crimes. And instead of his death, as it was in the original movie, he gets to live. He gets to break the cycle of death that Vader and many others underwent. Finally, we as an audience get to see what true redemption is. It's very convenient when somebody redeems themselves and dies and doesn't have to answer for the droves and droves of people that they murdered. But true redemption is watching someone willing to pay for their crimes. He allows them to shackle his arms as if he is under arrest, and he is taken as a prisoner of war. Probably assumed, but not stated, that he will face eventual war crimes trials. Other people are celebrating. Finn approaches Rey while she is still stuck in this very emotional situation. He says, "I still have to tell you what I had to tell you." She looks at him and she simply says, "Finn, I love you, but as a brother." He then says, "What? I was going to tell you that I'm force sensitive?" Blam, comedy gold right there. She would laugh, he would laugh, Poe would come out, they'd do their triple hug, and happiness would reside. And the rest of the ending would proceed as normal. She would go to this Tatooine, and who knows if she's going to live there or whatever, but she would take on the name Skywalker. Now, another good thing about keeping Kylo Ren alive and in-game and continuing this legacy would be that it opens up the door for countless comics and novels and video games and fan adaptations and fan fiction and people speculating what the rest of his life is. He gets to have continued stories very similarly to the way the original cast got to continue after they finished The Return of the Jedi. But it opens the door for so much Star Wars to happen. As we all know, we are always happy when there is more Star Wars to be had. Am I right? So there you have it. That is how I would have ended this amazing trilogy. How would you alter it? What would you change in this trilogy? Please let me know. Until next time, I would like you to like, share, and subscribe, and continuing to tune in to Voice of the Fat Mantis as we explore Star Wars and pop culture. I want you to have a beautiful New Year's. Ciao for now.